Hello, for this interactive advanced concept, I am going to be making kinetic sand. The ingredients that I used for this experiment were sand, cornstarch, dish soap, and water. So in this bowl, I have my sand here that I mixed together with about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And then in this bowl, I have my water I mixed in about a few drops of dish soap. And now I'm just going to pour the water in slowly into the sand until I get the consistency that I want. Then I'm just going to mix the water in. Add a little bit more water to my mixture here. And then hopefully that'll be good. So I can already see that the sand is starting to become more of that nice texture that I want to be able to move it around and play with it. I think I may have added a little too much water in mine, but it still is pretty easy. I can play around with it, put it in my hands, mold it into a shape that I want. Let's see here. Here is my kinetic sand. And like I said, I think if I add a little more cornstarch, or if I put in a little bit less water, I can change it to get it to the texture that I would like. That might be more desirable. This one is a little bit, has a little bit too much water in it. I think that's why it's not working as well as I hope, but it still is fun to mix it around and play with it, and still has like that texture of wet sand that can move around. So you can see here. Again, here's my kinetic sand. Okay, so as you saw from before, I just made kinetic sand with some cornstarch, sand, dish soap, and some water. Kinetic sand is a sand that sticks to itself, so that I was able to form clumps with it and mold it with my hands. Kinetic sand is an example of a dilatant or non-Newtonian fluid that increases its viscosity under stress. So I was able to mold the sand into shapes and play with it. But although if I, after a few minutes to hours, they will flow into a lump and the shapes will kind of break apart. So kinetic sand, it can be molded like clay, but it feels a little bit silky and a little bit slimy. But the sand, it is fun to play with because it can be sliced, smashed, or scooped, as well as sculpted into different shapes and sizes, so it is a fun activity to do. It is regular sand that has been coated with silicone oil. And silicone is a term that is not referred to one specific material, but instead to a group of different materials that contain the elements of silicone and oxygen. And silicones, they are polymers, and a polymer is a molecule that is made up of long chains of repeated units. And these compounds are also used in many different types of products, which I found interesting. So they're used in different products, such as going from cosmetics to different lotions or shampoos and conditioners, and that is because of their viscoelasticity. And the unique properties of silicone oils is that they can be liquids, that flow freely or semi-solids that flow slowly in the absence of pressure, but they act like rubbery solids under stress. So, although a substance's degree of viscoelasticity depends on the length of the polymer chains in the silicone oil. The polymer chains within the silicone oil make the sand particles stick together, so that allows me to kind of form it into a ball and play with it and just kind of make different shapes with it. However, if I do make it into a ball, it will slowly flatten out over time if I was going to let it sit for a couple of hours. And the silicone oil coated sand particles, they only stick to each other, not to other surfaces, which is kind of cool. So this is what makes kinetic sand a really great activity, either for kids to play with at home because it's easy to make and it's easy to play with. Because it really only took me about 10 minutes to get all the ingredients together and to make the sand. And it's also great for therapeutic purposes because it was pretty relaxing to play with the sand and fun to just move around with my hands. There are definitely many different ways that it could be used, whether at home, either for kids or even adults. And like I said, it was easy to put together and get all the ingredients. And it was a really simple cleanup as well. So it wasn't messy or anything. Like I said, because it doesn't stick to anything, but the sand only sticks to itself, which is really nice. So I really enjoyed doing this experiment and learning how to make my own kinetic sand. That's it. Thank you.